It's going to be a football game tonight now. No doubt. It's going to be a football game here. Okay. I done been here before. All right, let's go, baby.
9. Rushing 4, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground, and it's still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line. Vaughn Miller did it again.
Alabama back on top of the college football world.
Ladies and gentlemen, football to the max.
Your host, Sean Garmer, Gary Vaughn, and Randy Isbell.
Hello and welcome to another football to the max. And as the first things you heard are Randy coughing there, but that's okay.
I have great time.
At least you know what kind of things we're going through right here. But I mean, it's been a week, guys. Not a whole lot has happened still. We're in that lull of a football season. You know, the NFL even has to come up with that top 100 players because they have nothing else to talk about. So we are going to try to come up with our own little game here that may turn into a terrible segment, a total comedy segment, or it could turn out to a good segment. So we'll have to find out how that goes. We also got some news to talk about. But before we do that, guys, anything been going on this last week? Randy?
Ready?
I got nothing. Just lots of work and that's just been about it, really.
Oh, wow. Surprised there's no new games or anything you've been hitting up.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
I haven't even really got a chance to replay Uncharted again yet.
Wow. Yeah, for me personally, I'm just still trying to get into the groove of, being more regular on the exercising. Me and my wife are going on a cruise in October, and she is really hitting it hard, trying to get in good shape so she can, what she terms to be looking bad, which I don't think she has a problem, but that's how she feels.
You know
so.
how it is for women.
Yeah.
Gary. Especially when you're going out there for like people that don't ever see you again, which is so weird. Like you're never gonna see these people again, and you want to make sure that like you look super awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, and I understand the pressures on the ladies a little bit more because swimsuits and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I feel like there could be a chance for me to go to this cruise and work out because I am trying to be with her and work out on a regular basis and get my cardio in and really do that. But the problem is I could look like a guy like A-Rod, or I could end up looking like Governor Chris Christie. I don't know which one I'm going to look like by then. But we'll see. Hopefully I don't get, too bad.
I don't think it's going to be that bad of a contrast.
Well, either I'm going to do really well or I'm going to get depressed and just eat everything in sight because I'm depressed.
Well, yeah, you will have many opportunities to eat on the cruise. So that might happen. You're going to cheat when you get up there and do that.
Oh, it's going to be
right? Yeah, I mean, I kind of been working and doing the things that we normally do here, so nothing totally special for me. My daughter is going to get to go to because she was going to get to go to, and then apparently the people that were planning this, my that part of the family, just didn't think about the fact that Disney World Memorial Day weekend is going to be packed full of people, and that hotels are going to be super expensive, and you're going to get the kids all excited about going, and then you go, oh yeah, hotels are like $200 a night. Like, you probably should have thought about that when you decided to do this over Memorial Day weekend, but, you know. Not trying to take shots at people, just should know that, you know. But I'm just kind of mad because, you know, you get the kids, you get her all excited. She's excited about going to freaking Disney World, even though I wouldn't get to be there because they didn't tell me fast enough to get off. Thank God I did not get off from work and then find out that they can't go. So now I don't feel too bad about not being able to get off work, but it's just like, man, I hate that for her because she was super excited already. But, I mean, either way, just those things happen, you know.
Yeah,
so,
it's a bummer.
Hopefully she will have other opportunities to go to, you know, if anything, if not Disney World, you know, for sure, Six Flags, you know, in Texas or whatever. But let's get on to the news. And speaking of, I mean, this isn't something we need to spend a whole lot of time on, but Gary, I mean, I still lived there when we had the Super Bowl, and it wasn't the best of things. Now Jerry Jones trying to get the draft over there in Dallas.
They got this brand new facility coming out. It'll be coming up this year, and I think by the time they are done with OTAs and training camp, they look forward to having their players start to come in and do their training at what they're going to call the Star. Now, if you've not heard of this, you've not seen anything, do yourself a favor, go check this out. You thought Jerry Jones got ridiculous when it came to building the stadium? Go check out this facility. I mean, not only does it house the Cowboys, it's going to house several different football fields. It's going to host a lot of other things like shops, restaurants, hotels. It's a massive facility by itself. So will it be able to contain the draft? Yes. By the time if they do get the draft, no one's going to have to leave that area. That area is not only is the area that it's going to be in already basically a paradise for people who like to go shopping and entertainment, because it's Frisco, Texas, which is part of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. But this place is a really nice part. Actually, Sean knows it very well because the FC Dallas actually plays their games in Frisco. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, this is already a giant area. It's a great place. So the draft will be perfect here because not only do people, you know, have a place to stay, plenty of entertainment for all the fans to come check it out, people from out of town if they want to come fly in for the draft. So it's a good thing if they were able to sell this. We'll see if it happens. But I find it interesting that they're wanting the draft. I mean, it's good for the community, trust me. But, I mean, I just really never thought the draft is that important for you to want to really host it. I mean, it's great, but I don't know.
I think a lot of cities really want to host it. Just seeing what has kind of happened in Chicago. I mean, how many people did that one day, just the first day of the draft, bring in? I mean, you see shots from both, you know, NFL Network and ESPN just showing just city blocks filled with each team. Like each team brought such an enormous fan base to the draft. So I think now, seeing what it can be when you take it out of New York and you can open it up a lot more, all these different cities want it. And it's going to be difficult because, you know, Los Angeles is building this ridiculous setup, which is supposed to be housing the draft. I think that's kind of where the future is for the draft. But I think the NFL wants to move it around a bit more, and Dallas is a great place for it, really.
I think they should move it around. Why not? It is almost the second biggest event that they have all year now. It's bigger than the Pro Bowl. Nobody gives a crap about the Pro Bowl. And even the Pro Bowl is not going to be in Honolulu anymore. Where's it going to be at? It's somewhere else that I can't think of right now. But great work from me I should know that already. But I mean, my point in this is that it is probably their second biggest event that they have all year. Why not move that thing around? We already see what it does for Chicago. You know, in the 2 years they've had it. I mean, New York had it for all those years. Why not moving around to Dallas and Los Angeles, wherever. I mean, just you want to put it in a town, people will go to it because it's the draft. People want to go there. It's an event. I think this is cool. I think it's a good idea. Keep doing it. That being said, something that we all know now was not a good idea was Sam Bradford, the way he handled the Eagles making that trade to wind up drafting Carson Wentz. And this kind of came out there and happened, pretty much like the day after we did the podcast last week. So by now it's pretty old, but it raised such a stir with players and other players and people kind of being on this thing of it's not just fans, it's not just media hating on what Sam Bradford did. It's players, namely Michael Bennett of the Seahawks, that went off on Sam Bradford saying that I wouldn't want this guy to be my quarterback if he's acting like that. I wouldn't want him to be back on my team because he decided that he had all this money when there's guys that want the money he has just because he doesn't want to have to actually work to have his job as the quarterback. He wants to have it handed to him. Now, to be fair, the quarterback's one of those positions where you kind of need to know that you're going to be the guy to do the best. But, I mean, I heard many players talk about this, whether it was on ESPN or NFL Network, and they all kind of seemed to agree that Sam Bradford was kind of being a wimp about this and wanting to just, hey, you pay me this money, I should be your quarterback. Nobody should be challenging me. When that dude has made as many touchdowns as he's been paid millions of dollars, and the teams haven't done jack squat with him, where do you lie on this? Do you think those players are right, or you think Sam Bradford was right?
Actually, I think it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I mean, I can understand where the players are coming from. Just listen, stop whining, get into training camp, and let's go. Let's try to win. Don't worry about the player behind you. I mean, every player in the NFL has somebody looking over their shoulder wanting their spot. So they're going, why are you complaining over it? We all have to deal with it. But with Sam Bradford's situation, I don't like the way he handled it. I thought he was a big baby about it. But when you look at it through his eyes, I'm sure he was told, you will be the man here when he signed that contract extension. And then to see that they traded up to get a quarterback in the first round, not just that they drafted a quarterback, but they, spent pieces to go up and get him. Obviously, you're going to go, okay, so how much did you just tell me was a whole giant piece of crock until, was I just a backup plan just in case this trade didn't go through? What do you want from me now? So I can see it both ways. I wish Sam Bradford would have handled it a little bit better, but he wants his. I like the fact that he wants to be in a place where he's going to be on the field. He doesn't want to just collect a paycheck. But, I mean, you could handle it so much better.
I mean, he was trying to freaking be a Denver Bronco, and that didn't work out. He tucked his tail between his legs, and now it's all like, oh, it's not so bad, and all this stuff. And it's, I kind of agree with the players.
Yeah, and the players, I mean, they're going to have their opinion, and yeah, I could see where they're coming from. But you know what? I'll say this. Bennett would be the first guy to scream and holler and cry because we know his history if another player come and took his spot.
Well, but he's not complaining about his spot. He's complaining about he just wants to get paid.
Well, yeah, but Bennett wants to get paid. But any of this, I think just put himself in Bradford's spot. My point is Bennett would be one of the first guys, or otherwise he would show up that year and halfway do his job like he's done at times in his career. And there's other players that are like that. So I think he's kind of being a little hypocritical.
And I'm talking about the Seahawks defensive lineman Michael Bennett, by the way, for the people who just say, "Oh, well, I don't know which Michael Bennett you're talking about." But I mean,
I don't know. Here's my thing. Okay, so I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, I think that I totally agree with Randy. This could have been handled better on Sam Bradford's part. I definitely do. This guy could have went into that front office and said, okay, guys, look, it's obvious you don't believe in me. It's obvious you guys don't want me to be your future. So, hey, do me a favor. Put trade offers out there. I would love to be traded. You'll save a lot of money by, maybe offload my contract onto the different Broncos or any other franchise who were interested. Maybe get some draft picks, and hey, I'm all for it. Let's do it, baby. If not, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to play so well, you're going to second guess yourself about drafting a quarterback, and I'm going to be going anyway.
Ever going to say?
Well, hey, he should. If he's not saying that, he doesn't need to be in the league. He needs to go to another.
But that's the point, though. They told him, they said, look, we're drafting this guy. And honestly, if you're Sam Bradford, what the hell have you done to sit there and demand that you be the starting quarterback of this team, no matter how much money you get paid? You haven't done jack squat to prove that you deserve to even get the money you got, for number one. Number two, they're getting a backup plan because you can't stay healthy. So you need to prove it. And you know what you do? You go out there, you fucking bust your balls, you bust your butt, and you go out there and you earn that job and you say, okay, you're telling me I'm the quarterback? I know I'm the quarterback, but I want to show you so bad that you didn't mess up by paying me all this money or whatever. Instead, I get it. Job security is a big deal in any walk of life. You want to make sure that you are secure when you're going to work every day, that you have a job. And especially in the quarterback, if you're not the number one guy, you become expendable. And the way that the offers were out there for him, they weren't that big, and obviously the Eagles were wanting stuff back they weren't going to get on purpose. But still, this is one of those times where it's like, this isn't another player that's gone out there and proven, hey, look, man, I'm a winner. I stay healthy. Like, this isn't Adrian Peterson. When Adrian Peterson was going out there and wanting to get paid, that dude deserved his money. Sam Bradford, no. So this is where I just think that he's asking for too much and expecting too much for somebody that hadn't done that.
No, I agree on that. The money's not his fault. That's on the team.
I don't think this has anything to do with money. I think this is him feeling like he was betrayed. I mean, listen, if they don't give him the contract extension and then they make the trade up to get the picks,
he wanted a 1-year deal. Remember, he didn't want that 2-year deal. He wanted to basically play well for 1 year and go somewhere else.
And that's exactly what's going to happen. But it's just straight up the fact that, he was told one thing, I'm sure, to sign the 2-year extension instead of 1, and then for them to do this. I think he felt blindsided. To me, yes, he wants to go out there and prove himself so he can get the bigger contract next year or in 2 years or however it's going to work. Obviously, he has to prove it on the field to get it. To me, his frustration was more, I just think he was betrayed. He was confused at what was going on. It's like, why do you sign me to a 2-year extension if you're just going to go out and get my replacement right now? Now, he does come up, and he's going to play for the team. I don't think he's holding out anymore.
No.
So, all of that is fine. I think, he went and was butthurt for a little bit and acted kind of childish about it, and now he's back. But I never thought it was anything to do with money. If it had to do with money, Sam Bradford would go, listen, I got my rookie contract before they really scaled that down. So I got money. And now you just gave me this contract extension, and then you're going to bring in this guy. I'll be the backup and collect money. I don't care.
No, I'm not saying
it was about money. It's that.
I'm not saying it was about money. The money is for other players. I'm saying that he got money that his play didn't necessarily deserve, and he's getting money that maybe other players aren't getting, and he's upset because he might actually have to fight somebody to be the starting quarterback. That was my point, that the dude hasn't even played that well to come in and demand that he be the starting quarterback anywhere. I get what you're saying. It's probably right. He does feel betrayed. He does feel, oh man, y'all told me I was the number one quarterback, then you already get somebody younger that's obviously going to replace me. You don't think I'm the future? Why do I want to be somewhere where I'm not the future? I get that point. But again, part of this is you got to go out there and compete for your job, and it seems like he just thinks that he's great enough to expect that he should be handed that job, and he really isn't. You know.
I mean, I can understand him feeling like he should, is that great. I mean, like Gary said earlier, if you don't feel like you're one of the best quarterbacks in the league, then don't be a quarterback in the NFL. Obviously, many people think they're the best when they're very far from, but at least you have to have that mentality. And listen, when this whole thing went down, I was right there with you, Sean, about how Sam Bradford was acting like a child, and it was ridiculous, and he needed to get back out there. Well, now he's back out there, and he's out there to prove it, whether it's going to be with Philadelphia or another team next season. I think he has kind of reset himself. But the thing that we have to remember, I mean, it's very easy to just look at the situation and go, oh, it's just that some high money football player throwing a big fit. But, I mean, just think about it. Say you've been working at a place for a few years. You've been working on getting a promotion. Obviously, Sam Bradford's been a starting quarterback. It's not a promotion thing, but you finally get that promotion you've been going for, and a week into that promotion, they go, oh, yeah, by the way, here's Steve. You're training Steve to work the job that we just gave you. All right, how would you feel? It's like you finally got to this place, and they're like, okay, now you're going to train your replacement.
Oh, no, I agree with you. But, Drew Bledsoe, didn't he go through the same thing? And he had to deal with it, right?
Well, Drew Bledsoe's was different. I mean, because obviously Tom Brady's a 6th-round pick, so he never worried about it. His was, he got hurt. Tom Brady comes in as the fill-in, kind of like what Garoppolo will be doing the first 4 games. Tom Brady played out of his mind and really led that team, and then Bill Belichick went, it works with Tom Brady. So we're just going to stick with that. And that sucks, too, to lose your starting role, not based on what you did on the field, but based on an injury. But, I mean, it still sucks.
I mean, and that could happen to Bradford, though. So, that's another thing.
Yep.
He could have been thinking about it like that, too. Like, well, I know my body betrays me at times. Like, just as soon as I go down, either Chase Daniel or Carson Wentz come in there, they play well. Especially Carson Wentz. Mm-hmm. He's not getting that job back. Just that's gonna be hard. I hope for him that doesn't happen, but just that Philadelphia crowd is gonna eat him alive if he doesn't play well now, just even more than before because of this. But moving on from this, speaking of another quarterback that made some demands. Now this is old, as in it happened when RG3 was still with the Redskins, but I thought it was interesting to talk about just from, hopefully he doesn't have this kind of attitude now, and he seems like it's not. His response to all this was, I don't care, I'm not with the Redskins anymore. But apparently this report came out that through this website that I don't feel like I need to name, that seems like they had an objective, but it is what it is. That they interviewed Mike Shanahan, and Mike Shanahan apparently finally told the true story of what happened with RG3 the night after, or some other really close to the last game of the season after they got eliminated from the playoffs that year or whatever. I think that's what it was. And he apparently sat Shanahan, the offensive coordinator, the other Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan, and another coordinator in the room and demanded that he be a pocket passer and outlined a bunch of plays that no longer needed to be in the playbook, and basically acted like a prima donna, just telling them what to do. And, apparently Mike Shanahan was so mad he walked out of the room and all this stuff, and he was using words that Dan Snyder would use and stuff like that, the owner. And I don't know. Obviously, this is a far cry from, the RG3 of today, or you think, anyway. Obviously, people analyzing this. There was players analyzing this saying, look, I don't believe that you are a certain way once you're a player and you don't change from that. There was players saying that they think that there's still some of that RG3 in there, and that if things go south with Cleveland, we could see that RG3 come back. There was others saying that he's not that RG3, whatever, that people shouldn't even be worrying about this. But where do you stand? What do you think about this situation as it was, and all this with him?
Well, that whole Washington situation was a complete mess, and I'm hoping that, going to Cleveland will, eradicate some of the issues that RG3 had, and, he can go back to his old form. As far as what was reported in that meeting, I don't care. How many times is a quarterback and a coach going to have an argument where the quarterback feels like he knows what's best for the team or best for himself, and he's going to lay down some guidelines that he wants to see, and the coaches will either go with it or not. It happens in every locker room, I'm sure, and not even just with quarterbacks, with everybody. I mean, you're going to have these discussions at all times, and depending on what side you're going to take, RG3 is looking out for himself, or he is being a prima donna. Me, myself, just from what you reported there, Sean, I see it as RG3 trying to protect himself, saying that he wants to be more of a pocket passer. Well, no duh, every time he ran out of the pocket, he was out for a year. So I think he realized his body wasn't the way it was his rookie year, and said, take these plays out of the playbook. They're not going to work with the style of play that I need to play to have a future in the NFL. Stop trying to go out and murder me with these plays. I'm sure he said it in a not so wonderful fashion, and they got upset about it, but I get it. I understand it. I'm not worried about it, and I don't think it affects me at all in viewing how RG3 is going to do in Cleveland.
Gary, a thought or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of the same way with Randy on this, and looking at the fact that people are saying, well, this is the real RG3, and this is what you don't know about him. I'm sure he may have done that out of immaturity, and maybe he was able to act that way in college. Maybe he felt like you got to be aggressive. You've got to be able to get out there and put yourself out there and make things happen. If you're going to be a part of this league, you got to know what you're dealing with. You got to know where your coaches, where your fellow players' mindsets are, and what kind of people they are. Gauge it by that. Don't just force things. And maybe he is a prima donna. Maybe he's not. I don't know. I don't know him personally by this. I mean, I'm a Mike Shanahan fan, so I'm almost going to agree with him. But then again, that's being biased. So we'll see in Cleveland. This is the true test. Now he's got a shot again to be the starting quarterback. If we hear anything out of Cleveland, we'll know for a fact who he is and what he is.
I think Hugh Jackson's not going to put up with that crap anyway. So, if he starts trying to pull that crap, he's got, 5 other quarterbacks to choose from? So, that's another thing with RG3. At that point, I think they did have Kirk Cousins, but you didn't know what you had with Kirk Cousins. These guys, you've been watching them in preseason the entire time. They've been there the entire time with you. If he messes up there, Hugh Jackson can easily go to any of those quarterbacks and be like, okay, well, next one up. So that's something else that RG3 has to worry about, that I think is a different situation where your seat is not guaranteed. It can get hot in a hurry, and you might be off it. I think the last thing we can go in depth about talking or whatever, that I really think is something, I guess. Well, maybe two things here. Jalen Ramsey tears a slight meniscus tear in his right knee, almost sort of like the Dante Fowler thing last year. You know, in the rookie camp, in the OTAs there, doesn't even get out of OTAs, and he's already got an injury. Now, this could be something where he's okay for regular training camp, or he's got a problem when the season starts. Just kind of got to feel bad for Jacksonville, right? Just you don't seem to be able to hit on these first-round picks of making sure they're healthy.
Sure is a bummer for the Jaguars. I mean, this is the second player in a row, first-round pick,
and
get
you've
injured.
got Miles Jack out there with his thing too.
Yeah, which, so far he's healthy, but you're right. I mean, any day now, he could be down on the ground, and you're talking about another player that could be missing. So this is just a shame. It really is. And, I hate this for Ramsey. I mean, he was really looking forward to getting to training camp and get things started right. And not that he won't make it, eventually. It's just that, these are really valuable days in his career right now, and that's his rookie season, learning everything. Getting a chance to start out the right way, and he's not now because of an injury, and I hate that for him, but that's sometimes the way it works.
Randy, he already had a microfracture in high school that he had to get surgery on. How much do you think this affects him, like long-term viability? Like, he's already had an injury before, he has this. Could it affect long term, what he can do for how long he plays? Or
Yeah, it's definitely worrisome. I mean, injuries are a constant in the NFL, but to look at the history, and as you said, he had an injury in high school, and now right off the bat here, luckily it does seem like the knee injury is a little bit less severe than what Dante Fowler's last year, so he shouldn't be out for the entire season. They're still looking at second opinions and such, so we'll see just how long he's going to get missed. But it's kind of rough for Jacksonville. Back-to-back years, they draft the future of their defense, and right as rookie camp gets going, their main guy gets hurt. I mean, we heard about the Madden curse, but I'm more worried about the Jacksonville Jaguar curse. I think if you're a player in next year's draft, you pray that the Jaguars don't draft you in the first round so your knee is fine.
Yeah. Oh, that's, yeah. I understand and feel that way.
Well, hopefully, listen, obviously I have said many times over the spring that I think the Jacksonville Jaguars will win the AFC South. I think they're going to jump leaps and bounds as far as their skill level and get more wins. So I also hope that, with this Ramsey injury, they don't look at it going, we have a shot this year, and rush him back. As you said, with his injury history, take his time. Yes, it's going to hurt this year not to have him on the field and be able to use his talent, and you want him out there learning and growing and becoming a better player, but don't rush it. Take your time with him. You want 10 great years instead of helping you out this year.
Well, let's hope it's on the not so extreme side for the injury and he can't get back or whatever. I mean, this is going to affect the way he's able to run, how he's able to get in and out of the cuts, and all that stuff that you need to do as a DB. It affects you, and so, and he's going to also miss that time in training camp if he has to, and that's valuable for him as a rookie. So, I mean, hopefully for him and for the team, it's not a huge deal that it could turn out to be. More coming out of the Oakland going to Las Vegas camp. Robert Kraft said he would support it. Another owner believes that it's bound to happen. Seems like much different than what we were hearing when this was first coming out around draft time. Seems like it could really be going down, and even coming down with that potential, whatever that's going to wind up being, sale of the UFC, the people that own the UFC right now, the Fertittas, are very interested in owning the Raiders, and that could be one of the things they want to do is move them to Las Vegas. Just seems like lots going on there for the Raiders as far as going somewhere the NFL wasn't always keen on wanting to have a team before. I know, Gary, you've talked about how football is not the sport there, but kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, it is, and you know what? You're going to continue to hear stories like this until they actually figure something out or they get to know. Once again, I know Randy's had his opinions about this too. It would be great. It would be kind of cool to see football in the city. It's a tourist town. It really is. So, I have my questions on how they're going to be supporting the team. Sure, all the casinos, the businesses can basically pay for the team, make millions of dollars every day in Vegas. But it's the fact of the matter of you got to have the interest, you got to have the people that care enough to be there, buy season tickets, and do all those great things. And so I don't know. I mean, I don't have a problem with Vegas being, the team that the Raiders go to or the city that they go to. So I don't think it's a problem.
Anything from you, Randy?
No, football in Vegas would be great. Let's do it.
Football in Vegas would be great. Let's do it. Just win, baby. Just and
Just
Davis. Yeah, just get right. Tom Brady with his deflategate, he's not letting this thing go, Randy. I mean,
that was fun, guys. Have a good night.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. This, oof. It's amazing that
I
we get a
wonder if
chance
this
to talk
was
about
any other quarterback, they would have just stopped this by now, right? We would not be talking about this for like almost 400 and something days.
Well, yeah, it's the battle of Goodell versus the Patriots. I'm a broken record for over a year now. Thanks a lot, Tom Brady. But this battle has zero to do with deflated footballs. It has zero. It is the fact that Tom Brady tried to hide something from Roger Goodell, tried to pull the wool over his eyes, tried to get one by him, and Roger Goodell went, "All right, Patriots, you're done. We're not doing this anymore. I'm tired of playing this game. I am coming after you with everything I have." That's it. Has zero to do with footballs. It has zero to do with what happens on the field of play. It is all about Roger Goodell getting hurt, that the Patriots continue to try to push that competitive advantage as far as they can, and they keep getting by Goodell. So he finally just went, "This is it. This is where I'm putting my foot down." And Tom Brady went, "No, you're not. It's not happening." And here we go with the worst back and forth ever. And I'm so tired of the story. It's ridiculous. It's to the point where I'm expecting when E3 happens here in a couple weeks, when you have the big EA press conference and they're talking about Madden, Deflategate will be part of the game.
I would not be surprised at all.
It'll be in the options. It'll be game type, exhibition. All right, how long do you want your quarters to be? All right, how much do you want the PSI of the football to be? And if you go too low, Roger Goodell comes out and points a finger at you.
Man.
And then you have to go through all this court process before you can play a game. It's
want that. I want that in the career mode. We need to have that in there. You're gonna determine how many PSI it's in the ball.
Right next to the do you want domestic violence options in Madden.
That's terrible. We playing Blitz the League? You sure?
That needs to come back. This is a perfect time for Blitz the League to come back with all the extra junk that's coming on.
They need to have that. come back for sure. Just let's end it on a lighter note here. So there was this fan that wrote the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel to tell the Green Bay Packers that they are disrespecting and ruining the game of football with Aaron Rodgers hard counts. No joke, it's there. Come on, Packers. I think you're above this kind of play. Can you get those 5 yards without tricks? You're ruining the game of football. Our young athletes are to be coached to play. Are our young athletes to be coached to play the game this way? I hope not. But then again, they're only kids. This is stupid, right? Like, just why does doing a hard count to get a first down ruin the game of football?
Well, see, Sean, you didn't finish that story. You didn't say that it was written by Sharif Floyd, defensive tackle from the Minnesota Vikings.
It's actually written by Richard Klatt of the Big Bend, and Aaron Rodgers' answer was, I read some dumb things on here from time to time, but wow, Dick Klatt.
Applauds to Aaron Rodgers. It's just, wow. I get whatever. Oh, they're trying to do what they're supposed to. How dare they?
I mean, like, heaven forbid the guy used his brain and figure out an easier way to get a first down than actually, having to hope that his receiver catches the ball. The way his receivers were not catching the ball last year, he kind of had a point. I mean, right, Gary? I mean, just...
Yeah. This whole thing is just silly. But, I get it. People who may not like the Packers or just like anything in that, mindset, they're going to say with these kind of things. And so you got to take it with a grain of salt, But, yeah, it is what it is.
All right.
It just gives me the idea. I want to write some paper about the New England Patriots and tell them that tight ends are supposed to stay on the line and that them throwing to their tight ends so much is hurting the game of football.
Yeah. How dare they? They're taking jobs away from offensive linemen.
Damn it. All right, so we're going to try this thing. Like I said, it's either going to crash and burn or it's going to be a perfect segment. So, we're
Put your
basically
votes in now.
Yeah, so we're going to go around and each pick a team that we think has the best chance to win the Super Bowl. When that team is off the board, you have to pick another team until we get to the last, team. And then we can obviously laugh and point at the fact that they're not winning the Super Bowl this year. But, the Cleveland Browns. But, so, Randy, you start with who you think has the supreme best chance to win the Super Bowl this year.
Oh, we're putting that on me? All right. So, if I get the number one pick, and I get to pick the team that I feel has the number one best chance to win the Super Bowl this year, I'm going to vomit in my mouth, and I'm going to say the New England Patriots because that's who you go every year, right? They just continue to be there. I mean, so if you're going to base it off straight off of, okay, I get to pick the teams before you guys do, I'm going to pick the team that seems to have the best chance to get there all the time. So my number one pick is going to be the New England Patriots.
That is disgusting, Randy. How dare you?
I know. Terrible.
All right. Who's next? Sean or me?
You go ahead.
All right. The first part of this is kind of boring because I think we kind of know the teams that are probably going to be in it. In my opinion, Carolina got beat in the Super Bowl, but it doesn't mean they're a bad team. I think they're a solid team still. I mean, what did they lose, really? They lost Norman. But he wasn't the entire team. They still have that amazing pass rush. They still have Cam Newton, who can not only light things up to the air, but they also have his running ability. They have Benjamin coming back, plus some of the additions they've made. I think that the Carolina Panthers, you got to put them up there.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, they have to be that team that at least tries to make it up there again. Looking at this, I'm going to say that the Arizona Cardinals have the best chance after that to win the Super Bowl. They got really close last year. Yeah, they got skunked by Carolina, but not having Tyrann Mathieu, I think, is a big deal. And that offensive line gets better, is able to block this year. They got a pass rusher now in Chandler Jones. That was something they were missing last year. Can Carson Palmer have that same big year again? Who knows, but he certainly has that offense around him. They're definitely going to be in that mix.
Yeah, I mean, and Arizona was one of my big choices last year, so, and I'm with you. I don't think they've really lost that much. I think they've tried to clean up some of their holes, so I can see Arizona being right up there. I'm going to stay in the NFC with my next pick. I'm going to go with a team as Gary went with a team that's getting a wide receiver back with Kelvin Benjamin. I'm going to go with a team that is getting their leader on offense back minus their quarterback, and that is the Green Bay Packers. They get Jordy Nelson back. Eddie Lacy looks like he might actually be in shape, possibly. So I like how that works. So I'm taking Green Bay.
Fair enough. And I know Green Bay was my thought process, too, when coming up here because, just every year they're in the mix. Every year they make good decisions in the draft and free agency. And really, they don't have to be having a free agency. They kind of are homegrown, their guys. So, and I think, I'm going to switch things up a little bit here. I think we've been doing a lot of NFC, but I think the AFC deserves some love, too, here. You would think I'd choose, Broncos again, but no, I think there's a team that's sneaking up here, and I think that they've gotten a little bit better in the offseason, and I think that they actually have a good shot of making it further if they just can keep their players focused, and that's the Bengals. I think Cincinnati Bengals have a great chance to do some damage here, and I think I'm going to go to the Bengals.
And Andy Dalton, Gary trusts, I guess.
Yeah, it's not all about Andy Dalton. It has more to do with that defense is still pretty good, and I don't know. They just had the mojo last year. I think they can bring it into this year.
Yeah, I mean the Bengals were certainly close last year. I want to say that this team was also very close last year. They're going to be missing a receiver. You don't know if Le'Veon Bell is going to be back to full strength or whatever, but I think the Steelers definitely have that shot again at being up there. I mean, we know what their defense did. They didn't. They had to outscore a lot of people, but I think they got better on the defensive side. They got Harrison back. Some of the guys are a year older. You can keep Roethlisberger much healthier than you did last year, and I think that's already a plus. I mean, and we got to remember he went down twice last year, and the team still did as well as they did. So I'm going to say the Steelers.
Yeah, I think out of that division, I like the Steelers a bit more than Cincinnati, so I like that pick. But you guys just keep letting things fall to me and make me want to vomit in my mouth even more, as on my Super Bowl team with the Patriots and the Packers, I now have to add the hated Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, man.
Just for the fact that you guys have let it drop to the third round here. Again, they have the winning pedigree, they've been to Super Bowls, they've won a Super Bowl. Yes, again, they got skunked by Carolina as well last year. Tried to make a great comeback, didn't quite get there. A few holes that they've had to work on, sure. But listen, that window is just about closed with this formation as they have now. but you can't count them out. So you guys suck that I have to have the Patriots and the Seahawks on my Super Bowl teams, but you made me do it.
It's tough because I wanted to pick the Seahawks just because I agree with 100%. Just they have not really lost much, and they are continuing to build, and they did some pretty good work in the draft, I feel. So, for me, I think I've got to look at last year's champions, the Denver Broncos. I mean, sure, they've kind of taken some hits, especially the fact that they lost their future quarterback and, of course, the veteran quarterback that they had, but they are going to depend on Sanchez. And, yes, I know I'm picking another quarterback that I don't really trust. It's not about him. It's about Von Miller. It's about this defense. That's what it's about. And this defense is powerful still. They've got a lot of, things going for them when it comes to momentum. I think that they're going to be as dangerous as ever. We saw in the Super Bowl, it wasn't about the offense. That defense was what ruled the world. So I think, once again, they're going to be in power, and the offense doesn't have to be great at times. So,
yeah, you're right about that, Gary. I think you do have to worry about some of the defensive pieces they lost, though. Did they lose too many? Are they going to be the same team on that end? And then if you have a quarterback that is possibly throwing more interceptions, is that going to put more pressure? Just as many interceptions as Peyton Manning possibly. Is that going to put more pressure on your defense to be making plays? That's an issue. This is where it gets a little tough for me. I'm gonna say the Kansas City Chiefs. You know what? They figured out their offense last year, started throwing it to the receivers. You get Travis Kelce there, Alex Smith, another year of experience. You made your backfield a heck of a lot more impressive with the guys that played well without Jamal Charles. You got Jamal Charles back, and you got a two-way threat, and now you got that defense that's freaking stellar. Yeah, you lost Sean Smith and whatnot, but I still think I believe in that front seven, the Derek Johnsons, the Tamba Alis. Those are not going to be guys you want to mess with come playoff time. I think the Chiefs are still definitely in that hunt.
Yeah, you stole my pick. How dare you?
They all can't come easy.
I agree. So I'm going to go back to the NFC. I'm just going to stack up on the NFC, I think, for a little bit. Give me another NFC North team. Give me the Minnesota Vikings. They won the division last year. Teddy Bridgewater continues to improve. Adrian Peterson is somebody you just can't deny. They go out and try to work on the needs as far as options for Bridgewater to throw to. That defense is still pretty stellar. I'm not super thrilled about the pick, but Sean stole one of my sleeper picks, so I'm going to go with Minnesota.
Not a bad pick at all. And looking at this and looking who we have left, I'm glad that you guys left me the team that I think has a lot of potential, a team that not only got better in free agency, but also got better in the draft.
Someone's going to take Cleveland. No?
If the Cleveland resided in Oakland, yes. The Raiders are my pick. I think that they're going to come out and surprise a lot of people. We know that they've got a lot of potential, but I think they're going to come out and do some great things this year. And I think they can do it.
Who'd you pick? The Raiders?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I heard Cleveland, but he's saying nothing.
I'm not that crazy.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are hopefully going to be that crazy. I think things are starting to get into the. You know what? People were picking this team to be a Super Bowl contender last year, and unfortunately, they lost their quarterback. for a large portion of the season. We don't know what could have happened if Andrew Luck had played the whole year. They drafted a ton of offensive line help, the big problem they had last year. They drafted Ryan Kelly at center to help shore that up for him. You got everything else in place. You have to wonder about Frank Gore and all that, but you know what you got, the receivers. The defense is okay. They're not the best, but they have a shot. They have a shot, the Colts do.
I think the biggest fear for me is that defense. Now, the offensive line is all new, and that's also a problem to an extent because they've really got to gel. So if they can gel, they're going to be a great team. But the defense is my biggest concern.
Yeah, and it's that concern where, a lot of people are going to say I'm reaching, but I am all in on this team. I'm going to stick with that AFC South where Sean went. Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars. That offense is super explosive. Add Chris Ivory to that mix. And they worked strictly on defense. It seemed like for the draft, in free agency, getting Malik Jackson from Denver, getting Miles Jack and Jalen Ramsey, even though Ramsey is hurt. But they do get Dante Fowler Jr., who they drafted last year, to the team. I really think they put all the pieces in place to make it work. I understand Sean's not the biggest fan of Blake Bortles and his decision-making. Hopefully he's able to rein that in a little bit. And in an AFC where I think is wide open this year, give me the team on the rise. Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This is a tough one because I'm sitting here looking at a team that I think has a lot of potential, but I don't want to say it just yet. So I'm going to go
Cleveland Browns. Jerry wants to say Cleveland. You can hear it in his voice, can't you? You can just hear the potential. The quarterback, RG3. I just love him. But I'm going to wait. I'm just going to hold off. Gary, I'm going to steal it next round if you don't take Cleveland right now.
I'm going to leave the Baylor quarterbacks to you, sir. I'm going to go with the Houston Texans. I think the Houston Texans are a big question mark because they have a lot of potential as well. I mean, they did some great things. They got Broncos, Weiler. Will he be what they paid for? I don't know. I still have question marks about that. But I'm going to say that the rest of this team was built pretty darn well. I think that they've added a lot of great pieces. They've added some great depth. They got the running back situation figured out a little bit here with Lamar Miller. The receiving corps looks a lot better this year than it ever has. And I think that the defense can get better. It's, surrounded with J.J. Watt. It's surrounded his whole cast. And I really do. I feel like the Houston Texans are going to be a lot stronger team this year.
I love that we took 3 straight AFC South teams.
It's going to be a really good division.
I love it. Oh, yep. It's so good.
It is going to be a very, very good division. It's going to be so much fun to watch them next year. Now comes the time where I think things are starting to get into that nitty-gritty for sure. As I should note that apparently Shaq Thompson got cited for getting into a head-on car accident because he was driving and also decided to bend down to pick up his phone while he's driving. And then he hit someone who also happened to be a former Duke quarterback. He's from North Carolina, so I guess that car just sensed that guy was from Duke and had to go.
Shaq Thompson saw a Duke quarterback and just had to tackle him.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like that's one of those things you do. I think we've all done that at times.
I have not went head on with a Duke quarterback.
No, that's what she said. But anyway,
so many bad Duke lacrosse jokes I can make right now that I'm gonna avoid.
We've all made those stupid decisions while driving. It's just another one of those. I wanted to point that out just because the dude is 22. But man, getting back to this, I'm gonna say, as much as I don't know if I truly believe this, but I'm gonna say the Buffalo Bills.
Whoa, that was not where I thought you were going.
Wow. I know, me too.
I think Tyrod Taylor, he showed last year he could lead that team. He can both throw and pass. Sammy Watkins has those issues, but I think he'll have that secured by training camp. You keep him healthy. You've got problems with the other receiver spots, especially now. He's got no Hogan to throw to, but he's still got Clay, and he's got that backfield that it was so great for him last year. And that defense is still as really good as it is. If you can fix the penalty problems, which were a big issue for them last year, I think, you've got a Bills situation going on that could lead to something.
Yeah, that's a surprise pick, but
I can't go
totally
with your
against
team. I can't go with your team, Randy, because I don't know who the quarterback's going to be. So.
No, I'm not saying that was the part that surprised me at all. And listen, the AFC East is very wide open, especially if the Brady suspension gets upheld and one of these teams is able to really take advantage of that. So I get it, but just the way that you were hemming and hawing, I totally thought you were going to go to the team that I'm going to go ahead and take. And I think neither of you took it just because you don't want to jinx the idea of it. So I'll do it for you. I'm going to take your Dallas Cowboys, who are probably the best 4-12 team in a long time. Obviously, with the Romo injuries and all of that, they are a pretty solid team. You get your quarterback back, that's going to help. They get Ezekiel Elliott and Alfred Morris to really help that running game with McFadden. The receivers are still there. The defense is pretty solid. The offensive line is still the best in the league. And that NFC East is so wide open. I mean, we talked about the AFC South being wide open just because they're all improving. The NFC East is wide open because they're all so mediocre. So give me the team that probably has the easiest route to a division title that can then run the table in the playoffs if they only have to win a couple games. So give me the Dallas Cowboys.
Thank you. Oh, I didn't have to do it. Oh, man.
I could
was getting
tell
scared.
that you guys were just, I don't want to take my team. I don't want to take my team.
Yeah. No, and I definitely appreciate it. You know what? I'm looking here and just trying to think about, who I really think qualifies as some of the better teams. I'm going to stick in the NFC East. I really am. And, to me, it's between two teams. But the team I'm going to go here is the Washington Redskins. They're going to try to defend their title from last year to keep the East in their power. Not only did they get better than the draft by adding an extra receiver to an already strong receiver core, I really feel like as long as they can figure out a way to get that running game going, Kirk Cousins is going to have all that confidence behind him. I think that the offense is going to do just fine. They added some pieces of the defense. I think the defense is going to be better. Of course, they added Norman to that defense, which already throws a big A+ to the offseason for them. So I think the Washington Redskins have a great shot here this year.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. I think definitely all that stuff you pointed out, the Redskins definitely should be in that hunt. It should be really fun to watch our division as much as, we're going to be rooting against those teams. To be objective, we kind of have to hope that things are competitive. At least, I think I'm going to stay in the NFC East again, just because I'm not too sure about a certain team's defense in the NFC South. So I think the Giants kind of got unlucky last year with some of those games that they lost. They could have easily. They could have beat the Redskins. They could have beat the Cowboys in that first game. They had quite a few games where some better clock management by a certain coach that is not there right now. And we're maybe talking about the Giants winning the NFC East last year. You still got the Eli Manning and ODB connection. You've got the Shepard pick in the draft that could really help him. You improve the tight end position. You improve that defense as well, especially with Olivier Vernon and Janoris Jenkins. So if all those things can combine for a good chemistry, and you get JPP doing better than he did last year, I think definitely you've got a team in the Giants that can make that run. And once they get to the playoffs, they're always dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's actually kind of where I was going to go with my next pick. If you skipped on the Giants, yeah, they have the new head coach in McAdoo, but they have the pedigree. They just are that team where they're sitting at like 2-5, and next thing you know, they go on a crazy run, and that run continues in the playoffs. And next thing you know, they're going, how did they win another Super Bowl? I don't get it. But I mean, it's a great pick right there, and I'm going to stick with New York. I'm going to go ahead. I took your team in my last pick. I will go ahead and take my team this pick. I'm right there with Sean, where it's strictly up to if Fitzpatrick comes back. I think if Fitzpatrick does come back, though, they have to be considered one of the favorites in the AFC East. Tom Brady out for 4 games. They went 10-6 last year, and then you add Matt Forte to this offense, which is stellar. The defense just continues to get better as they draft Deron Lee. So much veteran leadership that is going to help kind of solidify this team. It really just comes down to if Fitzpatrick comes back or not.
Yeah, and that is the big question. And I think if Fitzpatrick is back there, I think this team is actually higher on our list. I really do. And it's just a situation that I know we'll be following. But, I mean, man, if they get someone halfway decent or figure out a way, the team's dangerous, very dangerous. Looking at this, and I'm trying to evaluate for my personal pick, because this is where it really gets tough. It really does. And I got 3 or 4 teams in mind, but I'm going to go ahead and throw in the hat for the Los Angeles Rams. I think that, sure, they're dealing with a rookie quarterback, but, man, they've got so much talent when it comes to their amazing running back in Todd Gurley. They've got some receivers that are young who have a lot of skill, who can really burn things up. I think this defense, as much as they've had some turnover there, they've lost some players, I still feel like they're decent. I still think that they can make some headway. They got some young players on that side of the ball too. So I think that, the Los Angeles Rams can make a little noise here.
Ooh, that might be the first time where I think we really have one going before they should. But, we'll see. We'll see. We could be the Rams could be doing better than a lot of these teams for all we know. Jared Goff could be the second coming. I mean, we no idea yet. That's going to be fun to watch. But I think another team that I think we're sleeping on. We forgot that they had one heck of a first part of the year last year, and if that defense improves and with another year under Dan Quinn, I think Atlanta Falcons, you got Julio Jones, you got the Matt Ryan connection, you got Devonta Freeman and Tevin Coleman there at your backs. I mean, again, they seem to sort of figure out that pass rushing situation. You get that going, the rest of the defense, which isn't too bad, can play well and play effectively enough for Matt Ryan to make the plays you need him to make to Julio Jones. And I think the Falcons have a shot there.
Yeah, I'm not fully against that. I mean, the NFC South is very interesting once you get behind Carolina. Atlanta was one of those teams I was thinking about, but I'm going to go with one that might be going under the radar a little bit, but I will go with the veteran leadership as well here. Give me the New Orleans Saints. Not huge on them as far as talent-wise. The wide receiver names are still, Brandon Cooks, Michael Thomas, Willie Snead. I mean, what? But it is Drew Brees and Sean Payton. They find ways to do it. We're getting down there to the nitty-gritty where, we don't have much faith in these teams. But, yeah, give me the guys that have been there before. Give me the Saints.
Yeah, I like it. So you're kind of like me and taking a risk here, because like I said, the Rams were that team that I was kind of like, but sometimes you got to throw those out there. Looking at this for me, there's some teams out here that I kind of like, but I look at teams that also have some great potential, and a team that I think has some potential here is still, the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, they're not grand and not great, and they may be going a little, like Sean said, a little ahead of the game. But I've looked at some power rankings. I think people have them ranked a little lower than I like. I mean, this team always stays in the hunt. They're always making things happen when they can, and I still feel like that they've got a great shot to, keep things going in the right direction for them if they can just have a few added pieces work. So I'm going to go ahead and put them up here.
I think, we talked about all those teams in the NFC South, and we haven't mentioned the Tampa Bay Bucks yet. Jameis Winston played really well last year. You had the tandem of Doug Martin and Charles Sims play well. I mean, Mike Evans dropped up a lot of balls, but I think Vincent Jackson will be healthy. You had some other receivers that are going to be able to get healthy now as well. That offensive line improved as the year went on, and they made that line better in the draft and I think in free agency as well. And they made the defense somewhat better as well. I think, this is a good spot for them.
Yeah, I can see that, and I will go ahead and just throw out the Miami Dolphins as my next pick. Tunsil drops to them. I'm sure it's going to work out great for them. Not the biggest fan of Tannehill. Ajayi, I think, is going to be great at the running back position again, and I've said it for the other AFC East teams. If Brady's suspension does stick, that's a 4-game advantage that these teams are going to have, and one of them could take advantage. So I will go ahead and finish off the AFC East with Miami.
Man. Yeah, I mean, that's a team I was definitely looking at as well. As much as I don't like Tannehill. I'm looking here, and I think I'm going to have to get out the sausages and, of course, a few other treats for myself and talk about the Bears as I cook on a plane and talk about them. Let's get into the fact that they've really improved their defense over this past offseason, really drafting well on defense and building it just the way that, Fox likes to build his defenses. And I think it works. I think it's good. I think their offense still has some potential there. Of course, Cutler's Cutler, so he's night and day. Depends on which one you get. But when he's on, he's on. And so I think that they have some potential.
Fair enough. This is where it gets hard because you have teams that are sort of in that same vein with each other. I think I'm going to go with the San Diego Chargers. I know we're worried about what that running game is going to be, but Woodhead is sort of reliable. And Phillip Rivers, he stays healthy. He's going to play. He's going to give it his all. He's going to will that team by himself if he has to. That defense is getting better. They got holes at this team. Most of the teams have holes at this point. Why not? I think that AFC West is. I think it's wide open. You never know what some things happen with the Raiders. It doesn't work out. Same thing with the Chiefs. Chargers could do something.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're now there on there. These are going to be our last picks. We have, what do we got left? We have the Eagles, the Lions, the Titans, the 49ers, and the Browns left. So, we're picking from the top of the barrel right now. But, there's a couple teams that I keep bouncing around as like that super sleeper pick of somehow. What was that? Sean, you're the soccer guy again. What was that soccer team that won the Premier League?
Leicester City.
Yeah, Leicester City. Which team here is going to be my Leicester City? And I'll go way out on a limb. Give me the San Francisco 49ers. Chip Kelly there. Maybe it'll change something. It didn't work that great in Philadelphia. Maybe it works better in San Francisco, whether it's Kaepernick or Gabbert. I'm not seeing it that much. But as far as like the final 5 teams that we have here, which team has made the most changes, which team can really just explode, I'll go with the 49ers.
This is that tough part. And a team that I think is going to be on the rise, I think a team that, they really worked it in the draft. I've got to go with the Tennessee Titans. I love the fact that they did add DeMarco Murray. I think DeMarco Murray is going to work a lot better here. I think with Mariota and that balance, I think it's going to help both of those guys. And, of course, the defense is, going to be questionable. But at the same time, I look for a lot of potential to happen here. So, yeah, I'm going Tennessee.
God, I feel like we've done a really bad disservice to this team. But I can't pick them either. I'm going to go with the Lions here. Matthew Stafford. I know he's got Golden Tate, and we got to find out if Marvin Jones is going to be the guy to help kind of usher in a new era of Detroit Lion receivers. You've got Abdullah, who could get better in his second year. The defense obviously has loads of questions, but that offense looked a heck of a lot better with Mr. Jim Bob Cooter at the helm. And who knows? You get a whole offseason of that. You know what you have in the team. And now you really don't have Calvin Johnson. You're going to have to see what you got. And who knows? It could provide something interesting in that NFC North.
So it is official. The Super Bowl 51 teams will be the Philadelphia Eagles and the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
That's just how things work.
Hey, it's the two teams that traded each other.
Yeah, it's true. But listen, I kind of agree as far as the disservice for the Eagles go. I don't think they are one of the two worst teams in the league. But listen, that's all we've talked about in the offseason is discord with the quarterback and the front office. And I think that really will affect the team. They're also, not only is it discord between the quarterback and front office, it's a whole new front office. It's a whole new head coach with Doug Peterson. It's a whole new setup. And I could never really just jump on board with that. Yes, I jumped on board with Chip Kelly with the 49ers. I couldn't with Philadelphia. I think there's too much drama right there, right now.
Yeah, I'm right there with you because of that reason. And I think they're going to be a lot better, though. This is no way they're going to. If they fall this far, it really is because discord has rung all through that roster and, of course, that office. So.
And I guess that just proves the show. This is not our power rankings. I'm sure we'll come up with a power ranking system later on, but just as faith in making it or winning the Super Bowl, the Eagles are going to be better than a lot of teams that we picked ahead of them. But when you're going down there and you're going for those long shots, you go for teams that you think if they're going to change, if they're going to improve, they have the better chance to improve all the way to being that surprise Super Bowl team.
Yeah, and that's why I got left with talking about the Cleveland Browns. So,
see,
no, I knew Randy was going to force me to do it. Right?
I tried. I wanted you to pick Cleveland so long ago, and you just couldn't do it.
Yeah, I know, but it's because of the Super Bowl thing. It's like you said, it's not the power rankings.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a team that I think is going to be interesting for the most part because they actually do have a quarterback under center that we've had some success with, right? We've seen this guy actually have success his rookie season, came out there, made things happen, and then, of course, injuries affected him, and then after that, maybe some off-the-field discussions and things have kind of harmed his career. But I think overall he's getting a second chance. I think it's going to help getting this team around him and get some motivation for the rest of these players to play well. I think they've added some good pieces. Their draft was pretty awesome. They made some really wise decisions for the defense and for the rest of this roster. So it's all new head coach. All these things factor into a team with a big, huge question mark. It's either up or down, and we don't know which one it is yet. So I think that they did some good things. I just don't know where we can go. I think that's why they're last on this list.
Yeah, definitely. And they're last on the list, and that will be the last team we have to talk about here as we're done with our Super Bowl draft, whatever that was. Hey, that went pretty well. I thought it was going to, bomb. And we handled ourselves well there. Talked about all the teams. So, there you go. But, yeah, I mean, if if something crazy goes down, I guess, between now and Thursday, I guess we might have something really short. Probably not, though, and you'll expect us here again on the Tuesday morning slot. We're starting to come up with some kind of series we can do for a month before we have to get into previewing divisions and college conferences and stuff in July. But, at least we had fun with this one. Hope you enjoyed it. You can go rate and review us on iTunes and let us know what you think. If anything, you can always subscribe to that WTM Network feed, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever there are podcasts. You can check out all the other podcasts that are available. Like the Rest of the Max one that we just did, talking about Raw and Cody Rhodes getting released and other stuff as well. And, of course, Randy, you have a podcast on there. What did you do this week?
Yeah, I co-host a podcast with my buddy Wes where we go through and play a bunch of old video games that, we just passed us by. And we play everything from, NES days to PS4 days. So a good mix. Podcast will be out later today if you're listening to this on Tuesday, or if not, it's already out, where we talked about an interesting puzzle game called Mousecraft. I played Epic Mickey 2 and hated every goddamn second of it. And Wes played Super Meat Boy and loved it till he got to the second and last level, and then hated every goddamn second of his life as he died 2,000 times and still hasn't beaten that level. So yeah, definitely check out the website. Wes is on Twitch every day. I'm starting to be on Twitch more often. You can search that at Backlog Busting, or my personal Twitch is Randy_BBP. But I want to talk about the big news that you shared with me earlier, Sean. Someone joined a social media site.
Yeah. Gary finally joined Twitter.
Oh, yes, I did. Finally. It's I do have another account, but I don't remember the password or anything. But, yeah.
You could just do forgot password,
Yeah, that's too difficult.
It's so much easier just to set up a whole new account.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think I'd remember it. But anyway, this one is specifically for the podcast. It's at W2M Gary. Just go type that in, and you can tell me how terrible you think I did at picking teams tonight, or just tell me anything you want. I don't care. But yeah, there it is. I did join social. And you know what, Randy? I may even have to tweet to Backlog Busting Project about the fact that I am fiending for some Tecmo Bowl. I want to play it so badly. I miss my old version. I don't like Super Tecmo Bowl. I like the original version, the one that was just classic. It didn't even have any NFL licensed names. It was just cities.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
You gotta love those old days when it was just New York and New Jersey, because they
and they had like 4 plays you could choose from.
Yes.
Very, very old school. Speaking of Tecmo Bowl, I know this is not super football-y, but Sean, you also do your Video Games to the Max podcast, and hopefully you guys talk about this. Did you guys hear what Family Guy did?
Loved it.
No, I did not.
So they had an episode where they played Tecmo Bowl, and they also played Double Dribble, the old NES game.
Yeah.
But that's not really the news story that I wanted to bring up. My news story was, so if anybody that is listening to this understands, watches some of the YouTube drama going on, and the copyright laws and all of that drama that's going on over there right now, Family Guy hit a whole new level with the copyright infringement. They took a video off of YouTube of a guy playing Double Dribble, and they also took basically the play that you see on Family Guy, Bo Jackson running around and then running back to his own end zone and running back while Peter Griffin is doing commentary of it. They took that video off of YouTube as well, which is one thing, but not only did they take that video of somebody playing Double Dribble off of YouTube and put it in their episode, they then copyright struck the original video that they used in the episode, which caused a whole sorts of flub. So they stole the video and then gave it a strike and took it down. They say it was on accident and it was an automated thing. Who knows? But it was like we're gonna steal your content and then take you down.
Wow. Now that does happen because once it appears on something that's like on TV or whatever,
yep.
it'll YouTube will go and strike it.
Right, I love that news. I watched it today and just kind of laughed. I mean, luckily they were cool with it and said we apologize and all that, and the video is now back up. But it shows you just how messed up YouTube copyright infringements can be. But I just like that story.
I love it too. That was so fun to see Tecmo Bowl on Family Guy. I loved it. Yeah, so there you go.
All right. Well, that's it now. Like I said, probably see you more like next week, but you never know. See you later, everybody.